Well, hello there. Rosanna here with some RozyGlow magic for you, and in this video we are looking at what a starseed is, recognizing struggling and awakening starseeds, and how to know you are ready to awaken your starseed consciousness. But first, what exactly is RozyGlow? Well, it is the frequency of divine grace that allows, through the power of revelation, you know, those aha moments when suddenly things become clear, to allow things to be let go of easily that are no longer serving us. So it's usually beliefs and thought forms that then make way for the gifts that we've always wanted to come our way. And in this sense, we are talking about awakening. So what is a starseed? Well, I am surrounded by starseed consciousness right now. You can see this beautiful seed of life mandala, and I also have it on my neck and on my ears. And this is the visual soul connection that I can give you to what it means to be a starseed. But essentially, everybody is a starseed, okay? A starseed is an evolved soul. It is a soul that has come to this earth to remember that we are not just physical beings, automatrons, here to be born, to live, to pay taxes, and then to die, but we're actually here to remember that through our physical and our soul connection, we can start to co-create consciously things we desire. Now, why is this important? Well, there are lots of different theories out there, and what I absolutely love to do is to bring things down to earth. So to demystify the woo-woo so it makes sense to you in your daily life. And what I've seen is that as I grew up, as I was born into a family, which is so common for starseeds, I remember waking up and thinking, hold on a minute, can't people feel what I'm feeling? Why does this world not make much sense to me? Why is this kind of suffering going on and no one is stopping it? Going to school and thinking, well, hold on a minute, like, why are we being taught this stuff and we're not being taught this other stuff that's way more important, that's going to support me to live a life that I want to live? Now, those kind of questions early in life will give you a good indication that you are a starseed awakening, okay? And how much we awaken or we struggle really does depend on the support we get in our early life and through our 20s and our 30s to really get clear on why we're here. Now, many of us are born with this sense of having a soul purpose and wanting to know what that soul purpose is. And if that is a question you have in your life, then you can bet your bottom dollar you are one of those people that is ready to start awakening your starseed consciousness. In the interim, what is important to recognize is that on this planet right now, there are souls at varying degrees of evolution. So if you can imagine that in the beginning, there was just source, there was just love, there was just one vibration. But in order for that vibration to recognize itself, it needed to create a duality, a separation, to be able to see what it is. So if you think of this as an ocean of love, which we could call God or source, then we all come from this place and we all go back to this place. It is the purest frequency of existence, the purest, most whole frequency of connection and existence of life. And it is beyond this physical reality, but it is also embedded in this physical reality. So in order for us to recognize that we are source and we are connected to source, we separate from source. We recognize that we are individual droplets in an ocean. And this is a journey that happens over many, many lifetimes. So I'm sharing with you what resonates with me. Please remember to take the best and leave the rest. And what I would say is, as you walk this earth, you will definitely see that there are people who are more self-aware and others that are less self-aware. And those that are more self-aware tend to consider more the effect of their life on others, or their impact of their actions on others, whereas those who are less self-aware are much more driven by their own needs without questioning what those needs are and whether they can actually meet those needs without causing damage to others, to the environment, to themselves and to those they love. So I'm simplifying as much as I can to keep this video short, but essentially recognize that we're not all the same, okay? Some of us are here having lived many lifetimes, and actually we are ascended masters in training. We are here to learn how to live as divine humans. And what that means is when we're non-physical, we can create through thought, we can create through vibration. We know how to create things and to actually see them in front of us, but they are not physical, they don't have density. This planet is a planet of density. It is known as the only planet of choice, and it is also known as the planet of free will, and it is meant to be a living library for all of the creations in this universe. Now, I'm not going to go into the fact that we're all creator gods and we all create universes in this video, but what is important to recognize is those of us who are drawn to coming to planet Earth are here to learn what it feels like to have an intention, to have a desire, and then to create that desire into physical form so that we see it manifesting in our lives. And I would call that the co-creation of our personal paradise. Now, if we recognize that we are all star seeds, it's just that until we recognize or start to question whether we're a star seed, I would call us an earth seed, okay? And the difference is that in a time of conception, an earth seed is basically made of the mother and the father, the sperm and the egg, and the consciousness of those humans is what influences most heavily the soul that has incarnated in the physical body. That is that being that is an earth seed. Now, what happens once you reach a certain stage of soul growth and evolution is when you are conceived, more of your soul consciousness is also brought into your conception. It's seeded into you to be awakened. And we actually choose for ourselves the circumstances in our lives that are going to awaken us, okay? And again, some of this might seem a little out there, but if you can imagine that you elect the circumstances, your soul elects the circumstances in your life, those key moments that are going to trigger an awakening, those key people that are going to come in that actually inspire something beyond what you were taught by the people that brought you up, and allows you to think beyond the box that you've grown up around, right? Because we have cultural, we have societal, we have religious connotations, we have boundaries around us that limit us, just like the boundary around this beautiful seed. The seed's right in the middle. This is the start of what we call the flower of life. It is the seed of life, right? And it is protected by a boundary. So we all have this boundary around us. This is our energy field, our reality bubble. Now, when I differentiate between a struggling starseed and awakening starseed, I would say that a struggling starseed is what I call is a light warrior, okay? And what an awakening starseed is someone who is intending to co-create consciously and to learn to own those co-creations. Now, I have other videos around what it means to manifest, what the law of attraction is, and what the difference is with co-creation. But essentially, what is important to recognize is light warriors are here to help to affect change in the world. But very often they are addicted to the same battle that those who are not awakened yet are driven by. And this is again to do with the complexity of us as humans, and in fact the time in our womb, or the time we spend in the womb, will it will guide us towards whether we enjoy more an adrenaline-based experience, a thrill-seeking ride here on Earth, or whether we prefer the sense of growing through love and nurturing. And this is to do with our nervous system. So you have your fight-flight response, and you have your feed and breed, rest and repair response. And they're both two different parts of the central nervous system, and they're designed to keep each other in check so we have homeostasis. But we're living in a world today that is basically fueled by fear. So it is fueled by the sympathetic nervous system, which is fight or flight. That means that most of us, the time that we experienced being in the womb, were really heavily influenced by adrenaline, by stress hormones, and therefore we have a predisposition towards battle, towards stress factors, towards actually getting our kicks from the thrill of excitement or anxiety. And when that goes wrong, we have anxiety issues, we have sleep issues, we then have depression issues, and all sorts of things that go on through the result of having a overactive sympathetic nervous system. I'm going to bring this back though, because what a light warrior is someone who is fighting for change, essentially. And someone who is fighting for change has the best intentions, but isn't going about it the right way. And when I say the right way, what that means when we fight for change is we stay in duality rather than seeking unified consciousness, which is what allows us to move out of battle into a place where we can become conscious co-creators of our reality, and we can seek to create through love rather than through fear. So this is the difference between creating through your ego, your programmed self, and your higher self, which is your soul consciousness. Now, if you look at what the difference is between a struggling starseed and an awakening starseed is, an awakening starseed is someone who is moving beyond the law of attraction, moving beyond just the idea of going for something, changing something, no matter what, and whoever gets in the way, never mind, the cause is more important than what happens as a result of it. You move into a place where you realize that in co-creating consciously, you want to co-create the highest good of all. You want to co-create the win-win-win in everything. You're not saying my will over your will. You're saying, let us evolve our consciousness into the highest possible consciousness we can, where we're seeking to meet in love. We're seeking to create resolution. We're seeking to create healing where there would otherwise be battle. And this is where you get to ask the question, how do you know you are ready to awaken your starseed consciousness? And I have a video which is called 10 Signs That Your Higher Self is Giving You. And this really gives you a sense of the fact that you are ready to start moving beyond the battle, to start moving beyond duality into oneness. Because what you are doing now is you're seeking to go beyond the idea that you hurt me, so I'm going to hurt you back. To understand that if you hurt me, I understand you are in pain, and that doesn't excuse the behavior, but it helps me to understand that no one would cause me pain unless they are in pain themselves. So how about we go about healing pain as a collective so we are no longer motivated by it? Now, the ego is simply your programmed self. The ego is simply the conditioning you inherited from your time in the womb through to the first 7 years of life. And unfortunately, in the world we live in today, we are more or less governed by our egos, because the world around us is wired for us to survive, not to thrive in. It is not about the highest principles yet. We are here as awakening starseeds, firstly as struggling starseeds to become awakening starseeds, to then be able to co-create the reality, which is a paradise on earth. It is us choosing to co-create our personal idea of a paradise. And if each of us goes about doing this with the intention of harmonizing with those around us and the highest good of all, then everybody raises their vibration together. So to summarize, a struggling starseed is someone who has evolved beyond the conditioning that they inherited to a degree, but very often what they do is they rebel against the conditioning to 180 degrees the other side. And if you're rebelling or you're conforming, either way, you're not in your truth, okay? Either way, you are reacting, so you are still in duality. So the fight against cancer, fighting for peace, rebellions, anything what we're doing where we are seeking to make change through anger, we are still creating separation. So part of our evolution is to learn to drop the battle. And that means loving up the part of us that loves a battle, giving them space, but finding a healthy way to channel it. Because very often our pain is masked as a desire to create change, but it's coming from a painful place rather than a healed place. So we're not seeing through eyes of love. We are still in pain ourselves. And that's the struggling starseed, who might be vegan, might be a vegetarian, might be a political campaigner, might be fighting for the environment, but is coming from a place where there is so much anger fueling things. And that anger is a capping emotion for pain. So that pain that we're in is what we want to bring love to. Of course, all of these campaigns matter, okay? We're not saying they're not important and they're not urgent, but where we come from is going to make a huge difference in whether we are effective in our outcome. So evolving from struggling to awakening is very important. And that means that we are making a choice to move beyond duality into oneness, to recognize that absolutely everything in the world is a reflection of different aspects of our consciousness. Some of them we like, some of them we don't like. And our job is to love up the parts that we don't like, to recognize that if we bring love and compassion and forgiveness to every bit of resistance we meet in ourselves and the world around us, then we can clear the way to co-creating the things we want with grace and ease. And this is the awakening starseed path. So this is what I invite people to get excited about, because you know you're ready basically when all of your normal coping mechanisms aren't working for you anymore. You know that you're waking up in the middle of the night, you've got obsessive thoughts, the tools that you're using to this point that have served you aren't working enough anymore. There's a real sense that there's something more that you want to do. And in order to do that, you're going to have to clear your motherboard, okay? You're going to have to go back to the original programming that you inherited, and you're going to need to clear that programming, so detox it, unplug everything, and then plug everything back into the motherboard in a way that is for your optimal alignment, to activate your divine blueprint, to activate your starseed consciousness and what I would call your divine design timeline. Now, this is how we walk this earth as divine humans. This is how we learn that we are here to evolve ourselves, and through doing that, we evolve those around us, rather than seeking to evolve those around us without having evolved ourselves. We move out of judgment into compassion, and we learn that every obstacle that we encounter is one that we place there ourselves in order to really learn to master what it means to come from the highest good of all, to come from the best possible place where our shadow self isn't leading the way in a way that we have a blind spot towards, so we don't recognize that it's happening. We are going to be powerful co-creators on this earth, then we really need to learn how to use that power wisely. And that's what I'm here, that's what I support people to do. So if you would like to know more about this and it fascinates you, then please check out the text box below this video and look at what else I'm offering. So I offer breakthrough calls, and I offer really amazing courses that allow you to clear that initial programming that you had, so that more of your soul consciousness can actually come through and lead the way for you. Because the more you strengthen your physical being to hold more of your soul love light, the more effective you are going to be on this planet, both in co-creating the life you desire and being an example to those around you. And if all of this just sounds completely bonkers to you, you're definitely not ready yet. Leave it be, enjoy your life, and when you are, come back to it. If you enjoyed this, thank you so much for watching. Please hit the like, hit the notifications, hit the subscribe, and share it with someone who maybe would benefit from this, because I see so many people struggling to affect change, and that is not what we're here to do. We are here to grow through grace and ease as we awaken our evolved consciousness, and that's what I'm here to support you with. So I'll leave that there. I hope you found this one interesting, and I look forward to hearing from you. It's time for us to awaken, and we can do it together. Namaste.